Hello, 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 my friends. Kaitlyn here, and let's talk about loneliness. Kaitlyn, that sounds like quite a bummer of a video topic. Well, it's the truth. What do you want me to give you? Lies about happiness and fulfillment? All right, for reals, I'm not trying to be all super negative or anything. There is power in a positive thought, you know. But I have some observations about late 20s life as acquired by my time here on this earth. So I've always been a pretty lonely person. I've had a hard time making friends for as long as I can remember. I had a bad spell through grade school where I would connect with a person and feel like I'd finally, found a best friend, but after a period of time, they'd eventually disengage. They'd find a new friend or friend group and we'd still be friends, but essentially I'd end up with a whole bunch of acquaintances. I was a stable person in several friend groups. People cared about me, but just not quite enough for me to feel like we truly connected in a meaningful way. And from my perspective, being an introvert who was especially shy as a child and teen and who has dealt with sometimes debilitating social anxiety, I didn't know how to come at it from my side to foster deeper friendships and relationships. If someone showed interest in me and I began to trust them, then I would pour myself into the friendship. But there was a very distinct line that had to be crossed before I would be able to, go into that kind of friendship level with anyone. Unfortunately, these experiences made me pretty distrustful of people and kind of assumed that no one really wanted to hang out with me or be my friend. I'm too weird or independent, and in high school I definitely felt like I was too much of a goody two-shoes. Now in college, between finally coming out of my shell a bit, but also making some concentrated efforts at friendship, I finally made some friends. Yay! People who I had meaningful experiences and conversations with, people who I'm still friends with today. But the last couple of years, as I've been transitioning into the late 20s, almost 30s era of my life, I find myself kind of lonely again. Like, I still have all these friends I made in college and some even from high school, but as you get older, your lives start to diverge. Most of them are married now. Many of them have kids or kids on the way. We just have vastly different careers and lives now. It's like we were all kind of on the same train for a while, but one day I looked up and realized that we were on different trains, on different tracks, going at different speeds and different directions. So your late 20s can end up being lonely even when you're surrounded by friends. It's a lot harder to truly connect with people you've been friends with because your lives are so different now. It takes a lot of time and effort, and sometimes one or both of you don't have it to spare. It's also a lot harder to make new friends because, well, at this point, let's be honest, most of us are kind of set in our ways. So it's difficult to figure out who's on a similar life train and would make for a more effortless friendship. But I should point out that friendship, like any relationship, is never going to be effortless if it's going to be successful, and you're lying to yourself if you think that. So basically, this is the kind of stuff I've been thinking about recently. Having my romantic relationship end has really made me take a closer look at how all the relationships in my life are faring. When you're dating someone, it can be so all-encompassing that it's easy to not realize how you and your friends' lives are diverging with time and age. That's kind of been the tough part for me with this breakup. Like waking up and suddenly realizing, oh, almost all of my friends are married. And before, when I was in a relationship, then we would hang out together as couples and that made sense. But as a single person, you kind of end up feeling like a leper or a third wheel or something like that. Like that's they don't make you feel that way. They're not saying that at all. But your uncoupled life doesn't really fit quite as easily with your married friends anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love all of my married friends and I so enjoy spending time with them and just great time of community. But I will say that there's a special kind of friendship that people who are married or couples have, or people who have kids, or even people who have dogs. And to be totally honest, sometimes I feel like I was on that same train with them, like the train that was working towards marriage, and then I got ejected. And so I, nor any of my married friends really know how to how do we deal with this? How do I integrate back into their lives without a boyfriend when they've always known me with one? So yeah, moral of the story is that adulthood is lonely, but not to be a Debbie Downer, I don't think that all of adulthood is lonely. I just think we have to be more creative and invested in our relationships and, you know, kind of understand that our trains do diverge and that's okay. We can have long distance train relationships, friendships with people too, and it's okay if we're in different parts of our lives. For the question today, I want to know how you make friends. Are you hopelessly bad at it like me, or are you like super go-getter, like everyone is your friend? I love people like that. I want to be like you. I don't know how, but you're great. Tell me some of your friend-making stories down in the comments. Plus, remember to check me out on these other social media sites. And if this video made you smile, do me a favor and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know the moment that there is a new video. And I will see you guys next Thursday. Bye!